I'm A.F. Stewart. I'm a writer of horror and fantasy and things dark and deadly. My latest series is Epic Fantasy, a seafaring fantasy series called Saga of the Outer Islands. I also have a horror series, a collection of short stories called the Killers and Demons series. And I also write poetry, and my latest collection of poetry books is the horror haiku series. Aside from the passion of writing, I guess the most unexpected thing I found about being an indie artist that I love is the creative control. I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much, but putting the book together from start to finish is really a fun thing to do in a lot of ways. It's a challenge, and I like the challenge. I mean, I've screwed things up here and there, made mistakes, but that's part of the adventure. I think my current series, Saga of the Outer Islands, has a lot to say about family that may get overshadowed a bit by the action and the adventure in the novels. I tried to put not only the obvious family dysfunction that you see in the book, but also about how miscommunication and misconception can cause rifts in the family dynamic. And yet, you can also see that there's forgiveness of those divisions in the books and the hurts that go intertwined in the narrative. And it's also about finding your place within found families, like you'll see with the crew of the Celestial Jewel. I think learning from mistakes and adapting to changing situations, that's the key to being successful, at least in my opinion. I think if you constantly learn as an author and as a person, then when luck does smile favorably on you, you're ready. That's sometimes a hard one for me, that feeling that your writing isn't good enough. I think that a lot of authors suffer from this, and that we have little voices in our heads telling us, you know, we're just not good enough. As it's going to be called the imposter syndrome. But and mine can get fairly insistent at times, so I've kind of learned to actually literally tell it to shut up. Just repeat the word shut up or be quiet in my head until those little nagging doubts go away. It's kind of weird, I know, but it works for me and it helps me cope with the insecurity and the doubt. I love talking to my fans and the people who read my books. And because, as I am a fan of sci-fi and fantasy and not as much a fan of horror, strangely enough, even though I write it. I mean, I love the idea of horror, but I'm a big chicken at heart. So, but I love to talk about it, and I love the ideas that come from fans and from being a fan. And it just, but I do try and tell my fans, ask me questions, talk to me if you want, because I know it's kind of intimidating sometimes to talk to authors or celebrities or whatever. Though I'm not a celebrity, but so I try to be as open as possible with fans, and I love to see their perspective because they see things in books. I mean, that I'm not sure I intended even, but I like to see that because it gives you, oh yeah, that could have been, or you could get that from what you're writing. So it gives you different ideas and different perspectives, and that's great. And you can find me and my books on the internet. I'm over on Instagram under AF Stewart Author. I'm at Twitter. as Scribe77. I have a Facebook group, AF Stewart's Minions, and I have a WordPress website called Welcome to Avalon. Plus, I'm over on Patreon, and I just started on Twitch, so I don't have much there, but I am over there. So